During the past week, we were looking for a general pullback somewhere around the $93,500 region for Bitcoin. And in today's video, I want to be coming back at this as Bitcoin is showing a bit of indications here for a bounce. And the question that I continue to receive from every angle, it seems, is this, hey, Crown, should I buy the dip? Should I buy the dip? Should I buy the derp? Well, I'm not a financial advisor, and also I'm not responsible for telling you exactly what to do, but I can tell you what I would be doing in these sort of situations, and perhaps you can use that hopefully to your advantage. Anyways, I do want to first point out that over here on the daily time frame, with Bitcoin having this decent bounce, I guess, which got all the way up to $98,500 on CME, that Bitcoin is potentially putting in the next major higher low right here on this red circle. And that higher low is also coming alongside a test of a major moving average on very low volatility. So typically this is the sort of setup that I'd be looking for on a potential higher low, but still several things need to happen for this to be confirmed and for it, at least in my opinion, to be a safe example of buying the derp, or at least a good example of buying the derp, because, nothing's guaranteed to work out, obviously, but at the end of the day, it's all probabilities. So speaking of probabilities, I want to bring you over here to this meta signal setup. This was on the 2-hour time frame. It fired off at $95,500. I believe this one was freely available in their Discord as well, which you can find a link to in the description below, and get these sort of alerts for yourself. And it is projecting its first target at around 97,300. Obviously, Bitcoin has already exceeded that target. That is a very high win rate for that first target, typically. The second target, however, is very, very important here, because that is at 100,110. And you'll see that number come up several times a little bit later. But I do want to state that the second target obviously has a lower probability than the first target. The first target is somewhere around like 70-ish, or maybe a little bit less than that, maybe a little bit more than that in some cases, but somewhere around there. And target number 2 is typically a little bit above 50% hit rate. So this does give us some probabilities to be going off of. I do have a bit of reservations here, and I should say that generally I would kind of treat this as risky. Well, I mean, it's a risky asset, but I would treat this as generally risky in the short term, as long as Bitcoin's below about $100,000. Again, that number is going to come up several times a little bit later, but as we get into that, I should actually directly identify why that is. And first things first, over here on the daily time frame for CME, there is potential, although unconfirmed, for hidden bullish divergence from the current low that is hopefully being put in here since the 25th of February, and the last prior major trending higher low, which was on the 9th of January, as we do see a slightly lower RSI read right here. So it's not like super confidence inducing, but it is potential. But how would you confirm that potential to be actualized into a real live hidden bullish divergence? Well, we need to see a local low confirmed here. And at this point for CME, which again does have a premium over spot price action, that number would be essentially above last Wednesday or Thursday's high on a closing basis, which is essentially $100,000, which probably correlates to like 99,300, 99,400 for spot price action. If Bitcoin can do that, then this starts to, it doesn't just start to look like it is confirmed as a higher low, plus hidden bullish divergence, plus, as we'll go over here, the daily stochastic oscillator will also turn up above that pivot as well. And so you have several things. You'd have, well, one, this setup over here on the meta signals. 2, you'd have hidden bullish divergence plus stochastic momentum all headed in the same direction. At that point, have to be looking for a move back around, 104, 105 for Bitcoin. And that puts it in a very powerful position, because I still do lean bullish for the month of February, as February has been a traditionally bullish month. Not always bullish, but typically has been. So it's, seasonality, I guess, if you want to call it that, is in favor. But moving on from there, I should actually let you know, if you find this content valuable or in some way meaningful to your life, consider like and subscribing, so you can get these videos produced into your YouTube inbox each and every morning, or maybe a little bit later in the day for you guys in the Europore yes, in our morning. Anyways, moving on, I did want to come back to the hash ribbons indicator as well. Got a lot of questions about this. I do want to say that for whatever reason, as of this moment, the projection for when the hash ribbons indicator will print a blue buy signal is unfortunately unpredictable. I mean, obviously that's due to the way that the code is structured in this indicator, but right now it is unpredictable. Obviously, when we looked at it last week, that was projecting somewhere between like 20 to 30 days. But we'll see. Again, on average, these take from the capitulation signal to the buy signal about 60 days, as we went over before. I won't go through the full explanation on that. You can just, go back to one of the last videos I think it was about capitulation. We do a better job of explaining it there. But if and when this does print, that also is when I become a lot more interested personally in buying the derp, as it's not necessarily an exact buy signal of like buy it exactly right here, right now, because you are going to miss the boat, but it does give you a very obvious pivot to be managing off of, which is the last major trending high or low. And right now, unfortunately, we do not have that, but I imagine that would probably play hand in hand with our charts over here and charts over here. But of course, we won't know until it actually happens. So I'll update as it comes through. And other than that, what else did I want to reference? Actually, that's pretty much it. We can go check out the weekly HPDR here. Obviously, Bitcoin did close as a rejection of it last week, but this week we can see that Bitcoin is once again kind of dancing around that same median area, which is $97,500 on CME. So it's a long week left to go. This one will close on Friday, but this would also be another sort of, I guess, early indication that you're going to be getting, a lot of these buy signals firing off if Bitcoin can, especially close the weekly above that, let's say, $97,500 pivot again on CME. So a couple ways that this can go, but it can go up and go and it can go down, and it can also go sideways. Yes, indeed. But probabilities associated with that, and for right now, I mean, it is still very interesting to me to look at this chart right here, because all I did was draw a line at the open of December, and you can see that Bitcoin it's been hanging out pretty much exactly around there for the majority of the last couple months, which is, it's a good sign of consolidation, but can still take a little bit longer, I suspect. Anyways, we'll end on this. We'll look at the quantum wave bands. Similar to meta signals, I like these sort of things because it's like having bumper rails when you're bowling, right? They save you from getting wrecked, and they usually put you on target. In this case, I wanted to show the last few signals here. You can see that it's had actually a slew of wins despite this, mostly boring as fuck price action. Buying the low over here, selling like literally the top. So that is a perfect example. Not always going to be like that, obviously. This one over here, not bad as well. And then the most recent one is a really good example of just the scalping nature of this, where it literally closed after one bar, opening at 97,300 and closing at 98,200. Not bad for 1 hour's worth of work. But yeah, these sort of things, like the meta signals, like quantum wave bands that you're looking at right here, are really designed, I think, with beginners in mind, because not to not to talk down in any way, but it gives you an actionable areas of interest for your entry, exit, and risk management. This is a scalping strategy, so it's not going to be like the fucking moonshot that I think a lot of the meme coin speculators are looking for. But ultimately, that's for you to decide. And I'll end things on that note. That's enough shilling for one day. I'm shilling the corns, and we shall see. But like I said, I still personally would be a little bit more on this, on the cautious side until we start to see a lot of those pivots fulfilled, or signals fire off. Until then, there is still a risk of a slight, a small move down, I guess, back down to the range lows, somewhere around 93 to 93,500 bucks. So we shall see. Again, the big focus for me is going to be on that weekly close for CME. That actually takes us into about the midpoint of February, and that is what we did say coming into February, that the first half was probably going to be boring. The second half, if there is going to be a move, that's very likely where it does come in around. So yeah, that's where I'm at for right now. As always, I want to wish everyone the best. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully tomorrow.